Interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. Welcome back to the Profits of IT. I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate leads and appointments without cold calling, ad spend, or spamming, i.e. through hyper-personalized outreach, check out managedprospectingsystem.com. I'm excited to have Michael DePalma here, Rob Ray's protege. He's a senior channel guy here at Datto. Michael, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a quick bit about Datto.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thanks for having me. So I'm Mike DePalma, Senior Channel Development Manager. I know it's a mouthful here at Datto. So Datto's channel-only company. We've got a large platform of products ranging from BCDR, SaaS protection, SaaS defense, so email protection as well, business management tools, PSA, RMM, as well as a networking line of products. So it's a little bit about Datto. My role is a little bit unique. I started out in sales about 7 years ago at Datto, moved over to the business development team, which is Rob Ray's team. So we kind of sit in between sales and marketing. So if you've been at any industry events, any of the Datto hosted events, you've probably seen either Rob Ray, myself, or Eric Torres up on stage evangelizing about Datto. So it's been an exciting journey. Get to speak to thousands of MSPs face to face. So it was nice to see back end of the year getting back out live and talking to folks.
Great. And so Michael, tell me something that's interesting about yourself outside of work.
Well, beyond being unfortunately a Mets, Jets, and Nets fan, not seeing a lot of championships in my 41 years. Cool thing, I was on Family Feud a few years back. You can Google that on YouTube. We actually hit the 20,000, which was pretty exciting. Right on the nose. We got to, if you follow, if you didn't understand the game, we hit it right on the nose, 200 points in that lightning round. I got to be the last guy. So that was pretty exciting. Got to hug Steve Harvey. So that was a pretty cool experience.
Oh, that sounds like quite the experience.
Yeah.
Did you actually get, you hit 20,000? Does that mean you made $20,000 on the show?
Yeah, we made 20,000. Yeah, the five of us split it. So we all got $4,000. And you have to actually wait 2 months before it airs, and you have to keep it a secret. So none of us told our wives, family. So we all watched it together, and they assumed we didn't win because we would have leaked it. Yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty fun experience.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great experience.
Yeah.
Can't say I've been on any TV like that. So maybe someday I'll make it on.
Yeah, something fun.
Anyways, so what would you say is your superpower when it comes to business, or what do you contribute your success to, and how can others apply that in their businesses, their lives, etc.?
I think my biggest skill set, and one of the things that I've learned over the 6 years being on business development, is just to engage with partners face to face and gain knowledge from them, from all different shapes and sizes, vertical specific, different regions, and just listen to them. So if I have a net new conversation with somebody, I've got a knowledge database of what has worked, what hasn't worked. So it's not just me kind of having a gut instinct about, hey, I think this would work in the channel. I literally talk to thousands of business owners, whether it's, in formal settings or it's over beer at the lobby bar. Sometimes you gain more knowledge there than you do in a booth. So being able to kind of dissect that and then easily explain that to folks and be a resource for them. I mean, I'm on cell phone calls, just getting to know people. And that translates to the space, to the MSP space of the successful MSPs have that same relationship with their clients. And it's kind of a common theme. So to be able to help out maybe an up and coming MSP or one that's been a little stagnant. I mean, that's the biggest part of my job. That's what I like the most.
Got it. So if I want to improve in this area, you have some tips for me on how I can get better at this?
Yeah, it seems easy just having that, kind of coffee table chat, but it is something you really have to hone in and work on. I know a lot of folks, and I see it all the time in the space, they don't necessarily feel comfortable, whether it's a formal presentation or at a networking event, going up to somebody who's standing alone, looking down at their cell phone. And it is kind of a lost art form. And I think at this point within the channel, we are seeing a shift where MSPs are growing because the business community is coming to them and saying, yes, now so you're not selling the idea of managed services. So it really comes down to being a differentiator. And what they like to see is that personal interaction. But it does take practice, and it does take that leap of faith. I talk to everybody that you can. If you get cold called, listen to what that message was that they left. Was it good? Then steal from that methodology. If it was bad, say, well, I got to avoid this. So it is something that's not, you just show up to an event and pass some business cards around. You got to go in with a strategy, get better at it every time you're at one of those events. Understand that you can't just try it once and say, okay, it didn't work, I'll never do it again. It does come down to setting up those goals, those expectations, and then really following through and honing your skill set at that.
Do you have any tips on, like, I guess, so, the tip, it's common in the MSP industry that the IT guys are introverted and not naturally extroverted. I mean, myself, I'm completely naturally introverted. I'm not a natural extrovert. And so I know that it can be a challenge to know just how to start the conversation. Do you have any tips on maybe like some verbiage that people can use if they're just to break the ice, and then how to guide the conversation along in a productive manner?
Yeah, I mean, I think at a higher level, it really comes down to being yourself. Because a lot of times you see like the energetic, kind of extroverts, and you say, I wish I could be that person. And you try to be it, and it comes off really fake and phony. So I see people have a script in front of them and be very rigid to what that initial conversation is. I'm a big believer, there's the 80-20 rule that kind of goes two ways. It's, 80% of my revenue is going to come from 20% of my folks. But I'm also a believer in the sales side of talk 20% of the time, ask open-ended questions, and listen 80% of the time, and then go where that conversation leads you. And within that, just have that natural conversation. If it's a cold call that you're trying to do, be straight to the point. A lot of people spend 2 minutes trying to introducing themselves. Be straight to the point and say, look, I just want to get on your calendar. I'd love to sit down and you talk to you about your IT. How are you handling your IT right now? Those open-ended questions to start out. People like to talk about themselves. So ask them questions about their business before you even start to get into what it is that you do. Because if you come in and you just sell and say, I work with all of these different businesses in your area and I manage their IT, and they've heard that spiel 100 times, ask them to talk about it. And you'll start to hear their frustrations, whether they're handling it in-house or whether they're working with another MSP. Just let them do the talking, and then let that, have those goals where you want to have an action item at the end and not just a handshake and nice to meet you. But I'm a big believer in open-ended questions right up front. Let them start talking, and they'll develop that relationship.
You have some examples of good open-ended questions?
Yeah, I would just, one of the things is, how are you handling cybersecurity right now? How comfortable do you feel with when you see those stories that you're protected and how you're protected? And then once you get that answer, if it is they are working with another MSP, get into some details. All right, well, tell me a little bit about what they're doing. There's checklists out there. The IRS has a checklist of things you should be doing to vet your MSP. Because what you'll find is a lot of times their MSP are not doing just straight educational type, either newsletters, blogs, webinars, those types of things. And when you can show that you're that type of resource, it goes a long way. So simple questions, how are you handling, this uptick in cybersecurity incidents? They might not be aware. They probably see some of those in the news and don't think it applies to them. But a simple question like that to get them talking, that their MSP might have never even asked them.
Got it. So any other tips regarding this?
I would just say, start with your existing clients, because when we see studies of growth, about 2/3 of the growing partners are getting that through referrals. And it can seem like, it's just luck. We call them bluebirds in sales, right? That somebody just walks in the door and says, I've been referred. But there is a methodology to growing those referrals. A couple of tips. If you've got a couple of strong partners, create a little small advisory board that you take out to lunch every quarter. And they feel special. They're on your advisory board. You listen to them. But those are now resources that you've developed a relationship with, where you can say, hey, I see you're connected with Joe, the attorney down the street. Would you mind connecting us? Once you've developed that relationship, that's going to lead to much more success than calling 100 different clients. The other piece of that is adding those educational pieces and including your existing clients, because they want to be the smart person in the room when they're at a dinner party and say, oh, did you see that Colonial Pipeline? You know what really happened was X, Y, and Z, giving them the cliff notes on it. That will lead to referrals. And we're seeing that successful MSPs are growing via referral, but that's not just straight luck. It's servicing your clients. It's giving them education to make sure that some other MSP isn't coming in and providing them with information. And they say, hey, my MSP never told me that. So develop a plan of how you're going to grow your referral base. Some people do spiffs. I think that's a little salesy, but it works for some folks. I think that if you want a goal for 2022, look at your existing client base, do some research of some people that they're connected with, and say, this is an ideal client for me to work with. How can I leverage the good relationship I have with my existing client to leverage a net new client?
Got it. Cool. So who should be doing business with Datto, and why should they be doing business with Datto?
I think the biggest differentiator for Datto, and we've got this large lineup of products, but is the commitment to the channel. So really, we work with MSPs that are one-man shops that have just started out, all the way up to the large, franchisees or multi-office places. So I think one of the things that when you start to focus on really any vendor, I always look at three questions. One, is this product going to work? Right. So we've been ahead of the curve on a lot of the groundbreaking technology. Our Cirrus, our BCDR products got 12 patents on it. We're going to continue to make huge investments in that, make huge investments in our internal security. The other piece is, what kind of support am I going to get? So with Datto, it's 24/7, 365 direct to tech support, US based. You're going to have resources on every single product. You're going to have your one point of contact who's going to be knowledgeable about that whole array of products. And then ultimately, can you make money off of it, right? And we're not running nonprofits. So can you make margin on these products? All of our products are MRR based. So instead of having just all of your income coming through project work or the bulk of it, these are products where you can guarantee fixed MRR. We have a fixed billing cycle. It's not, you're not going to get nickel and dime every month if you have to virtualize, you have to have a round trip drive. And so I think those are the three boxes when I talk to partners about how they vet vendors. And we always want to make sure we check off all three of those boxes.
Got it. Cool. And so if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, what would be the best way of getting in contact with you, Michael?
My direct contact is DePalma, DePalma @datto.com. And I could have conversations, just business conversations. Like I said, I'm not in sales. If you wanted to buy a product, I couldn't even create a quote. But if you wanted more information about the company in general, and you do want to have a demo, the best way is partners@datto.com. And that'll direct you to the correct person.
Great. Well, thank you for your time here today and sharing on about your superpower. So any closing thoughts, last words?
Last words, 2022 is going to be a great year for the channel. We're seeing huge growth. So it's an exciting time to be an MSP right now.
It is. Well, thanks again. And until next time on the Profits of IT, I am Jim Punzenberger, your host and the creator of the Managed Prospecting System. If you're looking to generate leads and appointments through hyper-personalized outreach, check out managedprospectingsystem.com.
Thank you so much for having me, Jim.
Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to the Profits of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.